Christopher Marlowe was the son of a Canterbury shoemaker, born in the same artisan class and in the same year as William Shakespeare. Canterbury was a small city at the time of Marlowe's birth, dominated as it is today by the Church. Marlowe was a child of the English Renaissance and the Reformation. It was a dangerous time in which to express an eager interest in the new scientific discoveries that were exciting the minds of intellectuals all over Europe. His exceptional gifts were recognized as a boy, and he gained a scholarship to the Corpus Christi College, Cambridge, from late 1580 until 1587. Like other brilliant students and writers, he was recruited by Sir Francis Walsingham as a part-time Secret Service agent. Marlowe's first important assignment as a secret agent was evidently in 1584 when he had proved himself by successfully gaining his B.A.
The plays. The Jews of Malta. The richest man on all the islands of Malta, his wealth is seized. However, he fights the government to regain it until his death at the hands of the Maltese soldiers. Marlowe's most famous play is the tragedy of Dr. Futus, in which a man sells his soul to the devil in exchange for knowledge and power. The Massacre at Paris is a short and lewd work, the only extended text of which was likely a reconstruction from memory of the original performance. Mostly bloody action with little depth of characteristics or quantitative verses. For some reason, the play has been the most negative of Marlowe's work. Massacre portrayed the events of Saint Bartholomew Day Massacre of 1572, in which French royalty and Catholic nobles ingested the murder and execution of thousands of protesters.
Christopher Marlowe was a playwright and a poet. His playwriting career lasted 6 years. He wrote for theaters. His first play performed was Timberlane the Great. His plays were very successful. Interesting facts. He is described today as homosexual. He was arrested in 1593 because of a rumor saying he was an atheist, but later was let out. An atheist was known to be an enemy of the god. His life was violent and contained suspicious coincidences. He was alleged to have been a government spy because of his lengthy absences during college. He was killed by Ingram Fraser, stabbed in the eye.
Academics say there isn't much evidence that Shakespeare was the author, as well as evidence to prove him to not be the author, so the question of his authorship should not be ignored, as the synopsis states. Skeptics contend that William Shakespeare had neither the education nor the literary training to write such eloquent prose and create such rich characters. That's why some people argue that Shakespeare couldn't have been able to be the author of his plays. How an uneducated man could have such high vocabulary, adding 1,500 new vocabularies in the English language. To write his plays or wake up to become the most famous writer ever in history. Also, there is an obvious connection between the William Shakespeare name suddenly appearing for the first time only a few weeks after Marlowe died, that others have said academics have ignored. Without the sort of evidence, academics, skeptics, and others can only assume and debate that Shakespeare is not the true author and that Christopher Marlowe is a true author and vice versa.